Hey, welcome to today's edition of Weathering the Storms of Life with the Ranges. Rob Rains here, Sally Tippett Rains, STLSportsPage.com, as well as putting these up on rainbowsforkids.org, our charity that we support here at the website. Hope everybody has been enjoying the quizzes. I think they've gone on probably a little bit longer than we thought they would when we started them. So we're going to shift the focus a little bit this week and come back to sports and have some more sports-related questions. So we're going to do some Cardinal nicknames today as the questions, and hopefully this week we'll be having more sports quizzes. But hope you've enjoyed them, kind of broadened your knowledge. We realize that the people who read our website, stlsportspage.com, have a lot of other interests as well. So hopefully you've been enjoying the quizzes, but we're going to get back to sports this week.
Great.
But we still are not going to be without the Sally's words of wisdom for the day.
Sports, though. Things turn out best for those who make the best of the way things turn out. Jack Buck.
One of my favorite quotes of things that he said. So, all right, you got something else before we get to the nicknames here, though, correct?
Yes, where'd I put it?
Okay.
All right, we're going to do a quick lightning round with you.
Lightning round.
Okay, he's been covering the
Thunder and lightning.
he's been covering the Cardinals and Major League Baseball for how many years?
This would have been number 40.
40. Wow.
Yes.
Okay, we should have had a big party or something.
With such an
we
monumental
still have
number, they may
time.
not
We
have
still
a
have time to
season.
plan that 40th anniversary party. Anyway, all right, we're going to do a lightning round. I'm going to say something and you say what comes to your mind. Most talented player you've seen play in person.
I would say Barry Bonds. I mean, even though he's not a Cardinal and had issues with the steroids and stuff, still, even before he got the issues with the steroids, just a terrific all-around player.
One of the best guys you've ever covered.
Mike Matheny,
One of the funniest guys you've ever covered.
Andy Van Slyke.
Very
Yes.
funny.
Yes, very quick with his quips. I had the privilege of doing a radio show, a daily radio show with Andy for a number of years, and we always
two
had
guys
a lot of fun.
go at it,
Always had a
yes.
lot of laughs.
The other one that I always thought was funny was Quiz.
Quiz is very good.
Mark
Dave
Quisenberry.
LaPointe is also very good. There's a lot of them. That would be a long list.
Okay. Best Cardinals team you've ever covered.
1985. They lost the World Series to the Royals, obviously in questionable fashion, but yeah, no question, best team.
Most exciting day at the office.
I would say Game 6 of the 2011 World Series ended with the David Freese home run. People forget what a bad game that was for about the first 3 or 4 innings. I would say part of the reason to answer that question is that I had a deal with Triumph Books to do an instant book on the outcome of the World Series if the Cardinals won. So I had kind of a personal rooting stake in the Cardinals winning that game and not losing the series.
Short answer when you hear these names. First of all, Red Shandies.
Great guy. Just obviously loved seeing him around the ballpark, even when he was an older gentleman. Still was fun to talk to, and just loved seeing him around the ballpark.
Bob Forsch.
First class guy. Enjoyed always being with him as well.
Adam Wainwright.
I could say the same thing about Adam. Just terrific guy. I mean, I think I'll share one short conversation I had with Brian Burwell, the great late Brian Burwell, one time after we interviewed Adam after a game, and he goes, "God, he makes our job so easy."
Mike Schilt.
Perseverance, dedication, intensity. Knows what he wants to do and has the ability to do it, and has overcome some obstacles in his life to become a major league manager, having never played the game professionally, and I think he's got a long, bright career ahead of him.
What do you miss most about baseball?
Being at the ballpark.
And your favorite baseball-related food?
A perfectly grilled hot dog.
Okay. You don't like
I don't like the
boiled
I
ones?
don't like boiled. I like them on the grill.
Like it when you can see the black marks
Exactly.
on it.
The blacker the better.
All right, let's get to our quiz.
All right. Number one. Should we just...
We're going to say it, you can guess, and then we'll go back to the answers.
Yeah. The old redhead.
The old redhead, number one. Number two, Slats. Who was known as Slats? These are
We're giving you the
living,
nickname.
dead, current,
all played for
past.
the Cardinals. The only connection is they all played for the Cardinals. And
At one time or
at
the
one
other.
time or the other. And we're giving you the nickname, wanting you to name the player or Cardinal personnel's real name.
Okay, so number one was the old redhead. Number two, Slats. Number three, Big City.
Number 4, Will the Thrill.
Number five, Slick.
Number 6, Skates.
Number 7, Goldie. Who's known as Goldie?
8, Uncle Charlie.
Number 9, Dizzy. What's the name of the guy known as Dizzy?
The Wizard. Number 10.
KK. Number 11 is KK.
Number 12, Engine number 42. Engine number 42.
13, Snacks. Who was known as Snacks?
14, the secret weapon.
15, the White Rat. That's pretty easy.
Mm-hmm.
The White Rat.
16, the Silent George.
Some of these bring back good
They do.
memories of people.
They do.
All right, so 16 was Silent George. 17 is Ducky.
18, Tsunami.
19, Pags.
And 20, Cafecita. Cafecita. All right, so now we'll go to the answers. The old redhead was Red Shandy's, and we mentioned him a minute ago in the lightning round quiz, but just always a thrill. I had the honor of doing his book a number of years ago, and just a first-class individual. We miss him every day.
Slats.
Marty Marion, probably the Cardinals' greatest shortstop before Ozzie Smith. It's disappointing that he is not in the Baseball Hall of Fame. I think he and Terry Moore from those teams in the 1940s probably both deserve to be in Cooperstown. Luckily, they are in the Cardinals Hall of Fame.
And I got to work with them at KMOX
Yeah, and
Radio. I
later,
got
of
to
course-
produce their show. It was very cool. And I remember Bob Costas was the host of the show one night, and he said he was the greatest shortstop that ever lived at
And-
the time that he
Yeah,
said it.
and of course, years later was the manager in charge of the Stadium Club. At the
Oh,
old
that's
ballpark.
right. Yeah, forgot about that.
Big City, Matt Adams, of course, former Cardinal, a couple times been with the Cardinals. Always take off of the Big Country nickname.
Will the Thrill was Will Clark.
Yeah,
You got
unfortunately,
to see him?
only had a. I mean, I knew him with the Giants too, and I always had a good relationship with him. And then he got traded over here to the Cardinals, and unfortunately, only played here a couple months. I think he was a great addition to that ball club, and I would have liked to have seen him continue and stay here for a little while longer. But if decided it was time to retire.
Number 5, another Andy Van Slyke reference.
Slick, yeah, that was his nickname that he developed years and years ago.
Number 6, Skates.
Lonnie Smith,
Why was he called Skates?
because you never knew where he was going to go or run or slide or whatever. They'd cut how his ability was played left field, kind of like he was on skates. Was kind of the way that started.
Number 7, Goldie.
Obviously, Paul Goldschmidt. Yeah, we were talking about this when we were doing the quiz. That a lot of the current players, they don't really have a nickname other than it's just kind of a variation of their name. Paulie D. Obviously it's Paul DeYoung. Goldie is Goldschmidt. So they just Carp is Matt Carpenter. Yachty is Yadier Molina. So just kind of
The nickname thing kind of
Nickname.
is a bygone.
yeah, for the most part, I think. I mean, as I say, you get a kind of a variation of their name, but that's not really their nickname to me.
Uncle Charlie.
Adam Wainwright, that nickname comes from his curveball, which has the nickname Uncle Charlie. Obviously, his Twitter handle is Uncle Charlie 52. So that's just after his curveball.
Dizzy.
Is Dizzy Jerome Hannah Dean? You wrote down Paul Dean, but that's actually his brother.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Is Daffy, Dizzy and Daffy. So that Dizzy was, of course, the last pitcher of the National League to win 30 games, and in the 1930s, a big part of the Gas House Gang.
The Wizard.
Ozzie Smith, of course, coming off his name and the relationship to the Wizard of Oz, the way he played defense as well. And if I'm not mistaken, he actually made a couple of guest appearances at the Wiz show when they were doing it at the Muni.
I do
a few
remember
years
that.
ago. So.
Number 11, KK. Have fun with this one.
Kwang Hung Kim,
Okay.
the Cardinals' newest pitcher, is still in town, kind of training, working out with Adam Wainwright, as we talked about last week in a story, and kind of waiting to see where things go before deciding if he needs to go back home to South Korea to visit his wife and kids for a little bit before we get baseball started again.
Number 12, engine number 42.
That would be Hall of Famer Bruce Sutter. Of course, came out when he was here with the Cardinals only for a few years. Unfortunately, again, he was another guy that didn't stick around longer. Wish he would have been here longer than he was. Jack Buck hung that nickname on him. Again, obviously, kind of related to the fireman, where you kind of think of guys coming out to put out the fire out of the bullpen. That's where he came up with that nickname.
13 is Snacks.
Probably second behind Andy Van Slyke in terms of the funniest guys that I've covered. Dave LaPointe, still a good friend, lives down in Florida now. Wasn't here very long. A couple of different stints with the Cardinals, but left-handed pitcher, and we all know left-handed pitchers are a little bit goofy to begin with. So he was, but great guy.
Snacks was more of his players and friends called
Because he
him
was
that.
always eating something, yeah. Kind of like Lance Berkman too. I mean, I would put Lance Berkman in a good category as a funny guy too, and he was also a guy that had some good stories about things that he ate. Yes.
The Secret Weapon.
Jose Oquendo, nicknamed that because he could play all over the ballpark.
The White Rat.
Whitey Herzog, they hung on him when he was a player back in the 1950s in the major leagues, and obviously named Darrell Norman is his real name. Whitey's actually a nickname as well, but some people called him that because of his hair.
Silent George.
George Hendrick, obviously a big contributor to the 1982 ball club that won the World Series. Called that because he declined to do interviews that started years ago before he got to St. Louis when he was in Cleveland. Had a bad situation with the reporter there. He stopped talking and held to that for the rest of his career. But he was a good teammate. Talked to his teammates, just didn't talk to the media.
But did you like him as a person?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't know him very well. I mean, because he really, when I was covering that team, I was still working at the Wire Service, United Press International, so I didn't travel. So some of those guys I knew better than others. And he, again, probably because he was not much of a media guy, I didn't really get to know him very well. But he did have, I know, had good relationships with everybody on the team.
Okay. Ducky?
Joe Medwick, Hall of Famer, actually buried in Sunset Hills, Missouri. He was a guy that the last National League player to win the Triple Crown, 1937. Probably underrated all time as far as being a great Cardinal.
Tsunami?
Carlos Martinez. And I'm not real sure how that started, what the reason for that nickname is, to be honest with you.
Cute the way they do it at the ballpark with all the
it's-
tsunami
and-
warnings. It
well,
kind of
and it-
scared me the first
and
time.
it
I didn't
calls-
really get what it
his
was.
foundation, his charity foundation, is called the Tsunami Foundation.
Pags.
Another guy that I covered over a number of years, Tom Pagnazzi, former catcher, now lives down in Arkansas. Another very good guy, very good friend that enjoyed a long, successful career.
And Cafecita.
That's a guy that we're going to miss around the ballpark. Jose Martinez, obviously here for a couple of years, a great guy, always available to the media, and wish him well in Tampa Bay.
Doesn't he make coffee? He owns a
He started
like
his
a
own coffee company. He's from
company?
Venezuela. Yeah, he started his own coffee company last year. It was available at Schnucks and a few other places. So that's today's edition of the quiz program. Hopefully you enjoyed it. We'll be back with another edition tomorrow here on STLSportsPage.com, RainbowsForKids.org.